Hi, welcome to Art in VR. This is a talk on new art creation methods. I'm Kay Guillory, and I'll be presenting this presentation to you. This is a rebroadcast, redub, whatever, of the original meeting that we had on Saturday, I believe it was August 4th, 2024. Myself and a bunch of painters and photographers and artists met up at Strange Pear Gallery in VR, and we had this discussion and a presentation. So, big point, we make art in VR. There's a lot of us making art in VR at the same time. When there's a lot of people making art at the same time, and they tend to involve the same themes over and over, that's called a movement. So we should name this art movement. And you're like, yeah, we are making art at the same time. And you know what's really funny is we're not the first generation of virtual artists to actually do this. We might be the third. Here are some people who created art in Second Life, which isn't even the only place where people were making art back in the previous decade. But let's go over some of them. There's Bibi Hansen. She runs the virtual art group Second Front, or she's a member of it, sorry, and is the daughter of Flexus artist Al Hansen. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, by the way. She's also an alum of Andy Warhol's factory. She was there when she was 15. She's had a really long career in art, and she continues to make physical and virtual art to this day. And we have Patrick Moya, a French artist. He runs a large gallery of his work as a fun theme park in virtual space. His characters in Second Life mimic the paintings he's done over the years, and you're going to see some artists in this presentation who sort of do the same thing. Here's, I believe Sam Rolfs is how you pronounce his name, is involved with XR performances. There's also Club Cringe in Second Life. He does physical tours with that and in Second Life, so just everywhere. One guest of this musical series was Dorian Electra. So there's a lot of art and there's a lot of VR, there's a lot of technology just all mixing in with their work. And the last photo is a painting. Now, isn't that weird? This is the artist Bryn O, and let's look a little bit more into this. Bryn O is a virtual artist who has been active in Second Life since 2007, and she's actually done a lot of 3D work even before then. Some of her art is also physical and involves some of the same characters. So you're going to see very repetitive motifs and design, both in physical and virtual with her stuff. Here's a website I found with her painting listed there, and it says, Breno is the virtual ghost of a Toronto oil painter. My interest in virtual worlds began with an attempt to create an artist unaligned with a real-life identity. The idea was to see if a pixel character could become successful and accepted as an artist in real life alongside flesh and blood ones. I see what we do in virtual worlds as the frontier to a new medium with the capability to create unique forms of art. Now here's like the only work that is published on that site with this profile. That was in 2013, so I think we might be able to date that avatar portrait to then. The reason why this is important is because 3 years later, I ended up painting a friend's avatar in Second Life when I was involved with an art camp there. And I painted it just for fun. Here it is over here. It's called Mantis. It's done with acrylic. It was just, just something funny for my friend. And I looked at it and I thought, it's very interesting. This might go somewhere. So I talked to Bryn and she showed me her painting. And that's when I realized we might have a movement. So meanwhile, in VR, here's a few visual artists and how their work varies. Here's your Transverse. She kind of represents like musician, sculptor, audio-visual kind of section of the arts. She's associated with Beat Syndicate and the Venue Cat Club. Here's Oz Pearsall. This is physical painting. It's not digital. I was actually originally mistaken in the presentation. I thought these were digital, and then Oz said, actually, they're physical. So there you go. And they are physical paintings of virtual avatars. Hikta is an artist. Here's a physical painting of a memory of Final Fantasy Online. Hikta says this screenshot was painted in 2021. There's also some work that Kikta does of video games as well. So there is also a separate movement of video game painters that are not necessarily immersive world painters, but they are adjacent to one another. And I think that's also something that anyone who gets interested in this movement and the particulars of it, that's something you want to pay attention to. Then we also have Reverse Butcher, who's known for large sculpture work in VR, her integration of these sculptures in various XR projects, kind of like this poster to the upper left. And then we have Baby Benito. Remember Patrick Moya with the physical paintings and the transmission of that same style to virtual art, kind of bleeding through everything you do. Then also she works with video. She had this amazing film called The Painters of Virtual Reality, which kind of explores a group of digital painters in VRChat. So she's a multidisciplinary artist. And then here's Strange Pear Gallery. There are many more artists. I wish I could name them all. We would be here all day. So shout out to everybody. This is the Strange Pear Gallery in VRChat, where an online community of artists showcase their work. Many of the paintings that pass through these halls explore concepts of the virtual world and the self. So right now you're thinking like, well, from that era to VRChat, that only makes one generation. Well, you're in luck, because there's a book you should check out. It's called Sex, Drugs, and Tessellation, but the Truth About Virtual Reality. And that's by Ben Delaney. There was a whole other generation of virtual art movement. We are indeed the third generation, making virtual art for 30 years. So what is this movement about? That's the next question. We're looking at themes of virtual identity. We're looking at immersiveness of virtual worlds. This seems to come up again and again. This seems to be kind of the theme, but here's some other things you might want to consider if you want to jump in with making art of this style. Recording worlds through photos, drawings, or paintings before the world disappears. These places don't stay up forever. Recording memories with your friends, making statements about virtual worlds that you feel are important, showing people what VR is like by transmitting your feelings to art. Some artists in this movement will use virtual photography to express themselves. Others are going to paint digitally. There's all kinds of things you can do. Physical paintings, audiovisual work, sculptures, whatever you can think of. There's already a lot of activity. And there's going to be more, because as soon as more people start talking about this, you get more people that are interested. So now we're going to talk about my personal work. This is a personal project. The painting is right here. This is a tribute, an oil painting. It's pretty big. It's dedicated to the World Horse Canyon by Impeller. And we'll talk about this painting later on, but really what I like to do is attune my former work of painting to something new. Find out how I can paint these immersive worlds in a more authentic way and explore what that looks like and how it can fit into a contemporary gallery. Who am I? That's me. Hi. I'm Kay Guillory. I'm an illustrator, VR journalist whose work focuses on virtual worlds, culture, history. I started writing at my own site, The Metaculture, and I'm now writing for Upload VR. Now, I believe the key to making VR grow is to foster the creativity of its people and to push the boundaries of what's possible. I'm originally a painter from Detroit, and our projects of all kinds happen there. I think the wildest thing I did in Detroit was my friend dragged me into this this fun project where I paid a 4-mile long hopscotch with a group of artists, and people kept asking like, why are you doing this? And we just say like, because we want to. It's the only question you really could give, except to the IRS. To the IRS, you tell them, because I want to make money. Just a pro tip. So in 2015, I worked in a gallery collection with Red Bull House of Art. The canvas acted as a computer screen, and it would depict subjects on the canvas, turn the viewer into the user. It was very interesting. But I kind of wanted more. I felt like there wasn't everything I could dig into that. I felt like there was more there. So the avatar portraits that I discovered in Second Life actually turned out to be the answer for me. So I started trying to write out what this would look like. What does an art movement like this look like? What are its tenets? What are its core values? I called it Gridism after Tron, the first virtual society in pop culture. I also tried various avatar painting experiments from time to time as I was living these immersive experiences. And then I came to VRChat, and I began a series of surreal VR avatar photography as a means of exploring virtual art mediums, but I still wanted to work on painting. Here's some more. Actually, here's some right here. I took these two, and then these as well. how did I do this? These look kind of, different. They look a little retro, right? Well, what I did is I used an editing program that was called Prequel. And you can use any mobile program that you want to. You can take this as lightly or as seriously as you want to. But I took it with the Detroit type of outsider art funism in mind, which is I make art because I want to. I make art for myself first. I don't make it for the world. I make it for me. And that's what I move forward with. And I did all kinds of experiments, but here's a really cool one. You can build a world in VR, keep it private, and treat it like your own canvas. Just take as many pictures as you want. And that's what I did, and that's how these photos came out. Here's some more. This doesn't even look like a photo anymore. Like, it looks kind of like a drawing, doesn't it? And then the one to the right, it looks like a dream. That's what I want. That's a sweet spot for me. It's the surrealism. Is when it goes beyond recognition. I think that more people should explore that. And then when you're done, print it out and then compare it to the photos of your physical memories. Here's what I came to the conclusion. There is no difference between a physical and virtual memory. A memory is a memory. So print your photos and your art. You'll miss them one day if you don't. Back to painting on that subject. Where do you even begin trying to pivot your entire nature of painting to something you feel can be more substantial and about a piece of tech that's still in development? That's very difficult because not only is the tech still evolving, but your art is evolving along with it. I felt like I was just kind of running in to keep up with this rapidly changing tech. Like, I'd have like a Quest 1 and then I turn around and there's this Quest 3 with all new stuff. And I'm like, how's my painting going to adapt this time? I had no idea. The only thing that I could do was start painting observations and memories. If you don't know where to start with something, start with anything. Again, if you don't know where to start with something, start with anything. As long as you get started. And you're noticing this one looks kind of different. It doesn't match up what's up here with the other paintings that I've tried over the years. Well, that's because I painted this one without looking at my canvas, and that's when things started to change for me. Because in order to reach the heart of VR and my work, this may not work for everyone, but for me, my personal story is that in order to do that, I had to paint blind. That's kind of weird, but let me share a quote with you that really helped me out. This is from David Wagner. He's a poet. How do you know that you are on your path? Because it disappears. That's how you know. How do you know that you are really doing something radical? Because you don't know, you can't see where you're going. That's how you know. And everything that you have lent on for your identity has gone. And so you are going to enter the black contemplative splendors of self-doubt at the same time as you are setting out on this radical new path. You can't see where you're going. Get a machete and start chopping. I put down the notion of what I thought I was seeing in VR, and I began to paint what my eyes were telling me was there. Form, line, geometry. That's the word. Geometry. As an artist, you go to like an art school, or you get like a atelier, or you get like a tutoring from an artist, like I did. And the first thing that they'll try to break from you is this notion that you know what's there. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have to break that down. You don't know what's there. You paint what your eyes tell you are there. So one way that you do that is with the skill of blind contour drawing. Now, I've adopted that to painting. What you do is you paint that on the initial layer. And here's how it looks. So you start out with this, it's kind of a low quality video, sorry, but here I am. I'm picking up some, some very light brown, and I'm just kind of going in, and here's like, we're just going to pause this real quick. Look at the lines, they're not perfect. Some of them have kind of gone off. That's what blind contour drawings look like. So what you do is afterwards, I'm treating the first layer like an alla prima, right? So you go over it with another layer and you've got like a burnt umber or something, some darker paint, and you correct the lines. And that's how you sort of fix it. And then you can continue and you paint with color. Now I wasn't sure what else to do. So I began recording my process and posting it online. Even if the explanation became dated or it was weird, it didn't matter. There was no path in front of me. And I had to create one if I wanted to keep going. Like I said, if the path ends, get a machete and start chopping. It's your path. You make it happen. No one's going to do it for you. So even if it was risky and I looked silly, I felt something would happen to make this worth it. So later on, I got a little further along in these experiments and I thought, well, that was really cool, but what else can I do? So I thought about augmented reality. And about a month or two before, Virtual Desktop updated their software so users could enjoy VR with the addition of pass-through mode. Some of you have probably seen those, various experiments with augmented reality online. This is one of them. I scanned my room with Polycam. I put it inside, a couple walls in VRChat. And then I put a toggle so that I put the scan of my room. You can toggle it on and off. So when there's a model in your room, they see your studio and you see them. That's how it works. So then I invited a friend, Regent Storm, over for portrait sitting. And the above video is what happened. Here's Regent Storm doing their thing. Here they are in my room. And it's just, this was like the wildest experiment. I've also done this with another model. I need to put up that video. But I was just really overjoyed that this actually worked. And, we sit down for a bit. There I am with my radial menu. I'm in VRChat, but it's my room. And, when you strip everything away like that, it just really makes you wonder where a particular program begins and where, something ends. And, there's a lot of people that talk about, oh, it's XR or AR is better or VR. It's like, after a while, it's going to all blend together. So whatever it's called after a while is just going to be what it is. So I am talking to Regen, there's a painting over there. We did a drawing experiment. Afterwards, we sat and talked, and it was really cool. I thought that this was really neat was when Regen gave me a hug. It was just so wild because I'm in my room, and there's somebody from VRChat giving me a hug. If you have a Quest 3, try this out. You should really try this out. It's a game changer. Okay, so then I talked more and more about what I was doing. At first, people don't believe you, or they think, oh, that's weird. That's because it's a new idea, and they're backing up a little bit to see it more clearly. So don't worry about the way people react to you. Just keep going, because soon I would come up with an idea that a lot of people that I didn't even know would love. While painting wide open spaces, I used Figment XR's Open Brush utility to rapidly prototype my next brushstrokes. And this is when it got really, really good for me. I did this again and again. Different branching decisions with color and layout to determine the best outcome. Its initial layer was done with blind contour of Impreller's Horse Canyon map. And then from there, I moved into prototyping in augmented reality. So I started blending all of my techniques together, and this is where I am now, painting a contemporary collection. So yes, this is a movement. We need a name. Let's think of one. But what can we use? Like, what names are going to work with this? Okay, here's what's not going to work. Metaverseism. No. That's too close to a corporation. No, please, no. And when I said this at the original meeting, everyone shook their head in unison. No. Any ism also that revolves around an existing person, platform. No VRChat ism. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not do that, because platforms pass away, platforms change, and you don't want that. Virtualism and digitalism are taken. Here's what might work. Immersivism is my suggestion. revolves around the standard of immersivity for virtual worlds. You can also keep it as Gridism if you want. Or we have more suggestions that I'm going to edit in, but here's my suggestions for you. If you're interested in this at all, keep making art, regardless of whether you're doing this for personal or professional reasons. Also, consider creating a personal gallery space in VR so people can always check out your work. And when you're submitting your paintings in this brand new idea to a gallery, especially physically in physical space, don't worry if somebody rejects you. Keep going, because not every gallery is the same. And like I said, this is a brand new idea. Not everyone is going to vibe with that. Some folks are going to step back a little bit. Keep going. Also, don't forget the power of selling paintings through VR and spaces like Strange Pear Gallery. A lot of people get paid that way. After that, we've got a section where we take name suggestions, there's questions, and there's a fun discussion. Thank you so much for watching this. And now here's the notes from the original meeting and the discussion after.
Adjacent to painting what's in front of you, because you're painting what's in front of you. I never know how to talk about this shit to people because it's so cool, and there's not a vocabulary for this. You're painting what's in front of you, but not what's in front. You're painting what's in front of you in the VR space. In real life, it's fucked up. Pseudo-realism. That's my thing. I will take no further questions. Anyone else got something?
I got 2, maybe 3.
Go.
Okay, should I step onto the stage?
They won't be able to hear you. Just tell me and I'll say it.
Good. That's why I asked. Okay, so the first one, as a joke, just to get everyone's mind rolling, is phantom painting.
Phantom painting. Wait, no, that's great. But that's too much of an in-joke. That's great if you're in the community.
Yes.
Phantom painting.
Okay. Number 2.
That's awesome.
Is surrealist reality. Or realism,
Huh.
in your case, since we're using realism.
Surrealist realism.
Surrealist realism, but that's kind of a slurry word, so I don't know if I like that one.
Surrealist realism.
Yeah, you see, you'll start mumbling it.
Yeah.
Some words that I wanted to maybe incorporate, which include leisure, persona, avatar,
persona,
and realism.
avatar, and then
So,
realism
I don't know,
again.
some combination
As
of
4
that, so-
possible buzzwords. Anyone else? I'm just gonna throw this out there. The cat girl paradigm. Go for it.
I know it's like super simple, but trans realism, because it's like
Trans realism's good. That's strong.
the crossing of like the 2 spaces.
I like that.
I was gonna
I
say
like that.
Second Life, but I know we don't the second art. I know we don't want to keep
Second
it with
art?
a sort of corporate thing.
Second
Yeah.
realism isn't bad.
Second Life has some unfortunate
Yeah, it's got bad connotations
yeah, it does.
behind it.
It's got
Yeah.
baggage. It's got a lot of
Yeah, a lot of baggage
baggage.
to it.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
but that's a good
are
idea.
there any other suggestions? I haven't been writing these down, mostly because all this is getting recorded.
I've been writing them down. Don't worry.
Oh,
I've been
cool.
writing them
Thank
down.
you.
She's been writing them down. Never
Okay.
mind. Thank you, Memedusa. Fustolf.
I don't really have a suggestion, and I'm not really well versed in art history, but aren't these movements usually named like after the fact?
No, not always.
Yeah.
No.
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 Depends.
It depends.
I know it wasn't Impressionism. No, Cubism was decided by like a group of cubists, right?
Impressionism was an insult, but there are some places like Al Hansen created his own.
Or Dadaism.
Dadaism, Flexism, the Flex movement was named as it was formed. So, yeah, some of them are named as they're formed. They are declared. And then other ones are assigned after the fact. But I don't believe in giving that power away. I believe that we should name ourselves while we have the chance.
So what you're saying is Catgirl Paradigm has a chance. If we get insulted enough with it.
I personally prefer trans.
You hear that, critics?
I got
So
some
you
ideas.
prefer... What do you got?
I know with a lot of this like brainstorming, it's like even if it's a silly idea, sometimes you think it's a throwaway one, but it's actually really good. So if anyone has any ideas, I personally suggest putting them forward. But what I have, let me pull it up here. Okay, so I kind of like this one's kind of I think it's kind of silly, but it's like virtualism, but just VRtualism. Just take the I out.
VRtualism.
VRtualism.
I don't know.
As you think
and
of
then
this,
there's holorealism.
holorealism.
Holorealism?
Ooh.
Ooh, I don't hate that.
In front of it
I don't
is a pretty
either.
good one.
Hollow be too
Um,
closely related to like the Hollow
Oh,
artists,
Empty?
Hololive.
YouTubers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, holo, HOLO. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still like pseudo
we
realism.
could put
I
it
know it's the one I came up with, but like
Pseudo-realism.
I feel like that's a perk. If you think it's like hollow, people will be like, wait, what? And they'll actually look at it more because there's a lot of big following about Hololive, and they don't have the term hollow, so I don't know.
Yeah, they technically
don't.
They
But
technically don't.
I feel like it doesn't. I feel like hollowism sounds like it's empty hollow.
Oh, yeah.
that would be
True.
my
But I
concern
feel like-
about that.
I feel like it's kind of like it contradicts. That's why it's hollow, but then it's also real. So it's like it's kind of like a back and forth there. But other ones I have is like tele in front of it, like teleart or something. I don't know, or hollow art or anything like that.
Hella art
Those
ain't
are just
bad.
some I thought of.
Teleart. Yeah, that sounds cool. Teleart. We could put that. We could like they're all
telerealism or
ideas, so we'll
something.
put it
That flows.
down. Yeah, we'll put it down.
Yeah.
Do we have any other name suggestions?
After naming, we will move on to a Q&A. Amelia.
Yes.
Something about enfolding.
Embolden.
Emboldening?
No, enfolding.
Enfolding.
Because you've got you've got worlds tucked within worlds, like a Russian nesting doll. Because you've got one world encapsulating another world. So
Avatars are dolls instead of avatars.
Yeah, Russian dolls. The other thing to think about is when you describe a work of art, when a painting belongs to Impressionism, it is called Impressionist. So when you think of a name, think of how you're going to take that name and then add IST to it. Fluxism or fluxism is fluxist. When you describe a painting, it's an adjective. It becomes an adjective. So think about that in terms of it being an adjective as well. How flexible is the name to an adjective?
Transrealist.
Transrealist is
I feel like that's the other like really strong one that's been suggested.
It is very strong. Yeah, it's very strong. Is there
Trans-impressionist?
Trans-impressionism.
Oh,
I was thinking of that one, but I
Trans-impressionism.
didn't know.
Trans-impressionism might
Or
be.
pseudo-impressionism. I like the term pseudo because it sounds mysterious.
it's-
Blurrywall, you had a suggestion?
I was thinking of maybe something like digirealism. Digital realism.
Oh, digirealism.
DIGI.
Yeah.
People are gonna think Digimon with that.
Digital realism.
But I don't dislike digirealism.
We are just all Digimons
Or
in the
perhaps
giant VR-verse.
virtualism?
We are all just Digimon. We're all just third form Digimon. Operator.
Yeah. Since sometimes we talk about cross reality, I thought about like cross realism. Would that be a thing?
Cross realism. Cross realism.
Cross realism.
Pretty strong.
Religious in
Ooh.
context.
Ooh. Maybe.
No, maybe I'm stretching, but it's
Nah,
okay.
I think cross is used in enough contexts, not related to religion, that
Fair.
I think that would be fine. Now, if it was like crucifix realism, then it's like, all right.
Jeez, no.
I feel like then we could start worrying, but
Would like
you don't get down into prayer every time you go across a crosswalk. I don't know. Some people might. I don't know. I don't live your life. But
Anyone else? My
Garvis.
fingers are still typing.
Beyond realism.
Beyond realism.
Realism goes hard.
Beyond realism.
So if it were a painting, it would be beyondist. Beyondist.
Beyondist.
Beyondist.
Beyond.
What is yours?
Mildine.
So yeah, so for system, I'm a big fan of Buddhism, but you know that. But pan-realism, on the same.
Unrealism's good.
No.
Unrealism's very good.
Unrealism, and also she suggested panrealism. Panrealism.
Panrealism?
Panrealism.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Penrealism. I think panrealism also works.
Yeah, there's a lot of names that can work here. This is really great. Thank you so much for all your suggestions.
Unrealism is the one that like hits me the hardest. I like unrealism a lot.
Ooh.
This is all gonna be we're all gonna have like a big like vote thing with all these names and a list, and people can like vote on them. We might like.
Is digitalism a thing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is a thing. Yeah. Okay.
Faust.
How about we just go with Oniro realism?
Oniro realism.
So let's go with dream realism. So Oniro, like dream.
Oniro realism, dream realism. Maybe there might not be enough people who like. My concern is that not enough people would get that. But then again, I was the one who suggested pseudo realism, so like I have no room to talk.
I think the other thing I would.
If that is.
Sorry.
Do you mind if I call it there for the name section? Unless there's someone with a really, really good idea. Because just to keep it going and so that the list isn't too long.
Like Neo Tokyo, and that Neo means new, so like new virtualism.
I feel like Neo has a few connotations.
True.
That I'm not crazy about.
Or like, oh, is there bad? I don't know. I don't know the bad ones. Like
Neo-realism isn't bad.
Is a new revived form of something. I don't know.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm just reading. Is that bad? I don't know.
It might be too closely related to
it's used in other things.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that actually I like that take. Neo-realism being like related to the Matrix.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's a. Okay, that's a better spin
like
on
Neo
it.
Tokyo and stuff. Like that's what I was thinking. I don't know of any other bad ones.
So, I think we'll leave it at that for now.
Oh shit.
Oh, take that. One more. We're doing one more.
What about esque as a suffix, like virtual-esque or digital-esque? Since virtual.
I don't hate that.
Virtual-esque.
Real-esque. Virtual-esque. Real-esque. Impression-esque?
No, wait, hold on. Let this cook.
So I disconnected. What was after real or after?
Oh shoot!
And
I forgot.
I
already forgot.
Oh shit!
We've gone through so many. We have a video. It's okay.
We have a video. We'll put it together.
All right. So, we are going to move on to the Q&A segment, just so that this doesn't go for the rest of the day. Because I'm sure we all could come up with plenty of names, but I think these first ones that just come to mind are pretty strong, honestly. I like a lot of the things that have been suggested. So, Amos,
okay,
take a seat.
Okay.
So I have some questions prepared if people in the audience feel like everything's already answered. But we are opening up to the audience for now. Izar,
Hi. So I have a bit of a question.
come up to the stage so that they can hear you.
Okay. Turn towards them. Turns towards you.
It doesn't matter
Just-
as
just
long as
talk.
we can hear you.
Okay.
We just want to make sure we hear you. We want you to be close to us so we can hear you.
So when it comes to like, let's say I take a picture of pears, right? And I like go into Photoshop, edit it, make it beautiful and artwork worthy. Who gets who do I need to credit the creator of the avatar as well? Because it's not something that I've made. I've just made.
I can answer this. I can answer this because I've done a lot of work with avatar painting. I have worked for a number of venues doing staff posters, painting them physically. So it would be the same. I kind of do my own take on them, so it's not exactly the same as their avatar. But I think saying that this was commissioned by so and so if they want the name done. I mean, yeah, you take credit for that because you painted it. But it's like if you're doing it like exactly like the avatar, like if you're trying to make it as accurate to the avatar as possible. I think that's the only time you really have to worry about like crediting the avatar creator or something like that.
Well,
it's like with fan art, right?
Yeah, because I know that when I'm gonna use like 2K, like the basketball game, right? A big controversy came up a couple years ago that when some of these basketball players, they have like all these tattoos and stuff, that the tattoo artist wanted credit in the game for, you know, their work being shown to millions of people that were playing the game. So I think that there's like a credit issue that comes up.
I feel like that's a case of legal assholery that I don't think you necessarily need to worry about.
Yeah, just to ask, just to get different opinions on that. You know
You
what I'm
should.
saying?
The standard answer is that you should have clearance for what you're painting. Get clearance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there does need to be like if you are I wouldn't pay anyone here without some level of consent.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a commission for them, then I mean you already have that.
Right. I just wonder because like if I go to another world that I find beautiful and I take a picture of that, you know, but I don't. I feel like it's hard.
Yeah, I would say credit if you're painting
Okay.
from like a world where you're in. I would say you would mention like it's like if you go to Niagara Falls and paint Niagara Falls, you're going to bring up the fact that you painted that landscape at Niagara Falls, right? So you would just say it's like, oh, I painted this at Olympia, or I painted this at Organism, or something along those lines.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, that was my question. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Ark, come on up.
So, over the course of human history, art has obviously massively affected the evolution of culture, technology, science, and a lot of things. I mean, I think we're all aware of that. I mean, we're now at a point where things seem like they kind of have a bit of ability to do a 180 as far as like how art can evolve technology. Excuse me. What I mean by this is so like there's all these like really cool pieces of art, and there's even like traditional art, like things like the Mona Lisa. Do you see a time when we were talking the other day about AI generation and the evolution of that technology, where like eventually like things like metaverse platforms, maybe operating systems will become just generation devices? Can you see a time when you have a piece of art and you tell the AI like, I want to make a world based on like the Mona Lisa, and like you have now an entire VRChat or a Resonite or a Banter world that's now just completely generated based on what the AI develop from that art.
So
is that something that's cool? Is that something that's like okay to do? I mean, is that kind of
what is the question? Like,
is that something that
do we
is that something that is
we
the
like
evolution
AI
of-
generated stuff?
Well, I mean, things that you make that
In
humans
that-
make, but then have AI be inspired to like maybe create entire worlds. Because one of the things about VRChat, it's kind of like virtual reality art. Like even though we're in an art museum, this museum itself is actually just kind of virtual reality art. And
I think
is that something that's cool to like have like an AI generate like an entire world based on the Mona Lisa or on anything?
I don't
here?
know. I
You
think
know, it's kind of a weird thing to think about.
Well,
AI
hold
is-
on.
Everybody wants ethical sourcing. Ethical sourcing is the thing. After that, it's up for debate whether someone uses AI to generate something, because what if they're putting their own work in an engine that doesn't have anything else in it, and they use that to then regurgitate and create some kind of generative work. At that point, the details are what matter about the piece. And I think that's really important to understand. There's going to be a lot of conversation about that. But my point is that ethical sourcing, which doesn't really have much to do with this particular discussion, because what we're discussing is using AI to create this art. What do you think?
I have another angle going at this with, and for me, like the discussion of is it ethical to source? Like I never felt strongly one way or the other. It's like, yeah, if you're not asking permission, like that sucks. But also, it's like if somebody's going on Google Images to search for something, then they're going on Google Images to search for something. I have a weird opinion of that, and I don't even like perceive my opinion of it as being like good. But coming at this from a different angle, I've been to AI generated worlds based off of various concepts and prompts, and I think they're complete garbage. It's like, I've seen like AI generated comics. I know we're talking about AI generated worlds, but this sort of gets my idea across better. If you see an AI generated comic where the art is generated, and then you as the comic creator are adding text bubbles to that, it never looks right, because the intention of what they're saying, how the art is causing them to act like an actor, it will never be exactly what your intention is, because it's not your intention anymore, it's the AI's intention. So it's pointless. Like if you want to make a world based off the Mona Lisa, make a world based off the Mona Lisa. I think having an AI come up with something for that takes away a lot from that process. Now, do you say like, AI, make me textures for this world I have made? Sure, that's a tool. That's fine. But to have like all of that be under the control of an AI, I think you will have incredibly disappointing results. So it's like, yeah, people will do that, but it will never be as good as somebody like hand making it, like with the hand of an artisan. That's my take on it, and whether or not it is moral or not is not for me to say, and I don't care, because I think it's shit anyway.
Okay,
Does that
thank you.
more?
I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay. No, as long as that answers your question to a sufficient amount. Okay.
I think so.
All right.
I think it's neat technology, but I think people it's used wrong in a lot of our current experimentations with it.
I think the way that we use it now is not the way
used
it's
incorrectly.
Yeah, I don't feel like the way that AI is gonna. I think it's gonna be Star Trek computer. That's what I think it's gonna be. It's gonna end up being Star Trek computer. Yeah. That's how I feel.
I don't think it's this big scary thing that's like it's gonna take over, because it is just as fallible as we are, and that's the problem with it. Like it's not this fucking like new god we're creating. It's Jim from accounting who has a sexy computer voice. Like that's what AI is.
And that as well is a whole other subject. You could have a whole other panel on that issue.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Let's move swiftly on. And I'm should we say no more AI questions?
I guess
running an art gallery in VRChat, I get way too many goddamn questions about this.
Does anyone else have any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you for your question, Art.
No problem.
Yeah, it was a good question.
All right.
And it's elephant room.
So-
We got to talk about it. Yeah.
So, I have some questions. If
All
nobody
right,
else has
cool.
anything.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So for right now, for your process, is the Quest 3 right now the only headset that has the functionality to do the kind of things you're doing, or are there other headsets that can be used at the moment?
I think that if you just want to use blind contour painting, you can use blind contour with any headset. You don't need AR for that. The cross reality is for.
Yeah, I'm talking about the cross reality stuff.
Oh, the
although
cross
that is
reality
good to
stuff.
know.
Yeah, you can use blind contour with any headset, and it's really great because it lets people jump in with what they've got. But I think that for AR and the cross reality studio experiment, that's going to be used that's going to need a headset that has AR capabilities. And I believe that right now the Quest 3 is the only one that's really got it. But wait, no, there's Apple Vision Pro too. Apple Vision Pro can also
Yeah, but that's the
access
Apple
that.
Vision Pro.
Yeah, if you want to spend that money.
No, the Apple Vision Pro is lame.
Can't even run VRChat on that.
Yeah, I don't even know how. Sadly, it's Bradley runs it. You can with yeah.
Yeah, you can run VRChat on
It is the most expensive brick you'll ever buy.
Oh, jeez. Do you have one?
Well, no. Oh, that's right. Hey, VRChat's coming out on iOS soon, so it will be able to run it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I think that's in beta right now.
It is able to run it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, there you go. I guess I can run it. But also, why would you? Why on earth would you? That's like eating. No, I shouldn't make that comparison.
Oh,
That's in my head.
You're gonna make the Apple fanboys angry. Don't do that.
Well, no, I used to be an Apple fanboy. No, actually, their hardware. The hardware for laptops has gotten a lot better in recent years. I will give them some credit.
No,
I think
love
their
Apple.
headset
Yeah.
is bad. I think their headset's awful.
I think where
But that's
Apple
just me.
stumbled is that they didn't understand that it's people that are the heart of VR. And so they didn't give too much, consideration to virtual worlds. And then they ended up making InSpace, which is like a very quarter-ass version of VRChat. Sorry, but it's true. I know everybody it's a lot of journalists that like InSpace.
Never heard of
and
InSpace.
You like it for 5 seconds and that's it. I don't see that going far.
I had a very interesting conversation with someone who worked for a company that made VR art galleries that weren't in VRChat, just like standalone map VR art galleries. And when she found out what I did, she said, "Man, I would kill you. What you're doing is what our company dreamed of making. How are you doing this?" And I'm like, "I'm just running it like grassroots community run. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm running it in a application that has a lot of community networking capabilities, not just its own thing." Anyway, we got off topic. So
Yes.
we got very off topic.
Yeah.
So so the things that are capable right now are of doing the mixed reality is the Quest 3 and the Apple Vision Pro. Is the Quest Pro able to do it?
That's a really good question. I haven't used a Quest Pro. Do they have color pass through? I think they do. Does anybody have a Quest Pro?
If they have
'Cause I
pass
don't.
through, then yes.
If they have,
They do, but the software is not the same as the MetaQuest 3, so
Oh,
it might
okay.
not be as easy to put an overlay.
So
on
the
other
answer,
images of it.
maybe.
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 Yeah.
Index says pass
The
through,
hardware
but
is
it's not
here,
good.
but like not the software.
So I
The
would
index
say,
also has color pass through, but it's kind of shit.
So I would say if you need face
would it be
tracking,
possible?
yes.
Would it be possible for you to create a separate text step-by-step guide for getting this sort of thing set up on a Quest 3?
Yes, I will. I will write that guide. Yeah, the metaculture, as I'm working with like
Fantastic.
upload, I plan on making the metaculture a place for guides rather than real-time writing. Because I want to put
Sure.
more news practice on upload because I really like working with them and they really care about VR. So I want metaculture to be a place where you can always find like a guide for stuff like this that doesn't go on mainstream news sources because it's more niche knowledge, but the community needs that niche knowledge. A lot of times we save our asses, with this niche stuff.
Honestly, and anybody who knows me well will not be surprised by me saying this. I'm kind of happy it doesn't go on mainstream news sources because I feel like that sucks all the fun out of it.
It is true. The problem solving of all of this has been a real thrill ride, and I can't say that I haven't enjoyed myself. I've had a lot of fun. This is the most fun art project that I've ever done, and it's been almost 10 years long.
It's awesome. It's genuinely impressive what you have achieved.
I just really
and
felt.
Also the fact I've met a lot of the people, not from the Second Life stuff, but in the VR community that's doing VR things. I would like to shout out one or two other people who are doing really cool art stuff in VR right now. Ultramono. I don't attend their events all that often, but from what I've seen, they're very impressive. They run a really cool rave world that completely changes every month. And the rave world itself is the art piece. It's really fascinating. So they're doing some cool stuff in that space. And Seeds, aka SEAGE, Siege. VRChat username is Seeds, SEEDZ. And he is currently working on some very interesting virtual fashion stuff that he's going to be releasing throughout the coming months. He's just talking with him. The stuff he has made and the stuff he is planning is absolutely fascinating. And he's made his entire avatar from scratch. Has made all the clothing on it from scratch and wants to start releasing and selling stuff on a fashion line. And I'm very excited for that project.
Yeah. A lot of times you see musicians and virtual fashion artists that they mix their work with this fine art approach. And so it's really difficult. It becomes very difficult, and musicians too. It becomes hard to say where the line begins and ends with a movement like this. But we're not going to worry about that because I think what's going to happen is a historian is going to gravitate to our work. An art historian is going to come here and dig in. They're going to just see this buffet of information and art and sight and sounds, and they're going to start recording, categorizing, and analyzing.
They're going to see this video on YouTube and be like, my God, this was the beginning of the Catgirl paradigm.
This is what makes this movement so fun. It's so much fun. Like, it's just like, when I was one of the silliest and funnest projects that I worked on before I ever came to VR at all was my friend dragged me into a project where she wanted to paint a 4-mile long hopscotch pattern from downtown to our local university. She just dragged me into it. We were all just a bunch of artists. She was like charismatic and fun and beautiful. And she's just like, paint this with me. And we raised money and people kept asking us, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Why not?
And unless you're
awesome.
The best advice I ever got was from Gilda Snowden, who is a legendary painter from Detroit. And she said, when you answer the IRS, when you say that, it's to make money. But what I'm going to tell you also is if it's not the IRS, and somebody asks you why you're doing it, because I want to. You don't have to justify anything to anybody else. It's because I want to.
Honestly, I can think of another good reason to make a 4-mile long hopscotch.
Yeah.
And that's that it would be an incredibly good workout to hopscotch for 4 miles. That would be an insane workout.
Marathon runners tried it. They did like a race, and it was really cool. They were so exhausted by the end of it. They
Do you have
hopped the
video of
whole
that?
way. Yeah, I do.
Okay, before we get too crazy on this, so I think we call it here. I think this is a good
Yeah,
spot
this is
to
great. Thank
finish
you
this
so
off.
much for this. Yeah.
Oh, Lady Azar, you have a question.
Yeah, I had one more. So a lot of like the art I see coming from like VR is digital art, and like digital artists, like
Yeah.
the rise of the Procreate artists. How best would it be to go about archiving like that kind of art? Because we have physical art like the Mona Lisa and the Thinker, and we have things like that. But the cloud only lasts so long, and we saw Second Life. What happened today?
Well,
yes.
So how
have
do we
an
go about
answer. And Old Space.
archiving?
Print it
I
out.
have an answer.
Print it. Make it
Print it out?
physical.
Yeah.
Or just do what I do and make traditional art.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
But also print it out. Print it out is the actual like better real ass.
If you're painting it in
option.
VR, that's cool, actually. You're saving money on prints, and I love doing that. I love saving money. You know what I'm saying? So when you're done, you take a there's a setting in VRChat for like your camera. Take the highest quality image that you can of that picture and print it out. Boom, you've got your art and you can sell it. You
With a
can
very
put it
good
on
printer.
a canvas. Yeah, with it, you can get it done. Like, you can get it like printed out of printers if you want, or limited runs, or you can do like
I'm
gesso on a canvas. Yes.
Yeah.
I've been looking into let's see if I can find it real quick. I'm still looking into this, but it's a new print, or not a new thing, new to me. A new print website that Mondoscope was telling me about called the Stackhouse Printery, where you can get single prints for at really good prices. And I'm going to be starting to recommend that to people who want to sell prints on their own without needing to use imprint. As much as I like imprint. I have issues with imprint, but they're ultimately fine. Regin, you have a question.
Yeah. Specifically for Ameth, what's your favorite thing about this movement? What do you like the most and makes you the most excited? You may have gone over it a little bit, but I'd like to hear it in more depth.
I like when art makes people go either, how did you do that? Or this is insane. Because they get a little scared because it's brand new thing, and it's just like opening, it's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this brand new thing.
The whoa moment.
The whoa moment. The whoa moment is so much fun. I love that moment. And I don't know, I just like knocking the glass off the table. What can I say?
Absolutely.
It's a very cat answer.
I would like to answer as well, if that's.
Go for it.
I love. Holy shit! Sorry, it's some really loud lightning.
Oh gosh!
That sounded like it was right outside my door. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway,
because I'm Storm. That's why.
Oh shit! Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure.
Like, that was a fun. Yeah, we're
yeah,
fine.
stay safe. Okay.
God, that was so close. Oh, that was awesome. Anyway, sorry. So I paint a lot of avatars, as I mentioned earlier in the talk, and throughout my process, I like to send process shots about every 30 minutes of work to the client to make sure that they like it, and then seeing them see the piece come together and get more and more wowed when they think that more can't be added or that it couldn't possibly look better, and then I do another pass on it. They're like, "How did you do that? Oh my god, my character looks so cool! Oh my god!" That'll never get old. I love it. It's the best.
I feel like the prototyping with your paintings, because I love your paintings already. Once you add prototyping to your work, is just
Honestly,
so
the
wild.
thing. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I I hadn't seen that bit yet. I perked up a lot at the prototyping thing. Like, I won't lie. I'm probably not going to do the cross reality plein air painting. That just doesn't work for like how I like to make art.
Yeah.
People here are gonna love it, but what I'm interested in is the prototyping. Oh my god, that's gonna save me so much time.
Yes. When you make that wrong brushstroke, and it's like, ooh, you can avoid it.
And then
you can avoid those moments.
It's a money thing because it'll save me so much pain.
Yes, paint is expensive. Yeah.
Paint is expensive.
Yeah, I can see
spend,
this
like
being like this.
probably
I
spend
can
about-
see people. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Like, I probably spend roughly like $2,000 on painting supplies a year. Like
Oh my
roughly, I
goodness.
haven't done a check, but if I was to, well, because like I
You
take
paint
it
a
all
lot.
into account. Like it's all, I paint a lot, and my paintings are expensive, so like it's ultimately fine. But realistically, it's probably more like a bit over 1,000 if I was to take a wild guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see you spending a lot on paints. It's your main work. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I love it. I love digital artists. I do not like making digital art. I like the physicality of it. But having that digital prototyping, that's a game changer. That's so great. All right.
Yeah.
If there is no other questions, I think we're good. I think that was a successful talk. Everybody, please give a big round of expensive claps for Ameth. That was a fantastic talk.
Thank you.
I love going into the history of all of this. That was very fun for me.
I felt a sense of responsibility to carry this on for them. I love the art community in Second Life, and I wanted more. So I'm really excited to see what happens from here. I'm so excited for all of you. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
So if y'all want to hang out and continue talking to me and Ameth, or just talk amongst yourselves, I'm gonna put some music on, and I think we could just vibe
All right, cool.
for a little bit if you want.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to anyone who watches this video afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and